Hello friend, welcome to my channel. My name is Mary-Ann. On this channel, I bring you tutorials on fashion DIYs from dressmaking, bag making and fashion accessories. I want to appreciate my returning subscribers. Thank you, I appreciate you. And if you are new on this channel, I want to say thank you for stopping by. On today's tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how I made this beautiful drawstring dress with just 2 yards of my African print. I use 1 yard each of these African prints to make this dress. So without further ado, let's get started. So this is one beautiful dress you can actually make with your leftover fabrics. So I don't have much fabric here, so this is just 1 yard and this is just 1 yard. So I decided to make this beautiful dress with my leftover fabrics. So the first thing I will do, I'm going to pick one of these and I'll be cutting out my strings, because I'll be using this. I'll be cutting out my strings from my 2 yards because everything I'm going to be doing is going to be with these 2 yards. I don't have an extra fabric for these strings. So if you have an extra fabric, you can go ahead and cut out your strings from your extra fabrics. So because I'm going to be working with just these 2 yards, so everything I'm going to be doing is going to be with my 2 yards. So the length of this fabric is 45 inches. That is the normal length for African prints. It usually comes in 45 inches by length. So from where I have my 45 inches, I'll go ahead and cut out my strings. So I'm cutting this by 1.5 inches. So I'll go ahead and cut out another piece from the second fabric using the same measurements. I have these 2 pieces cut out. This is going to serve as my strings. So the width of this is 1.5 inches. So I'm going to keep this aside and let's work on our dress. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to pick one piece of this after removing the 1.5 for my strings. I'm going to fold this into 2 equal parts like this, and I'll pick up the other one and I'll be folding this the same way too, into 2 equal parts. After folding into 2 equal parts, I'm going to place them on each other. So after placing them on each other, I'm going to be marking 1 inch all the way. This 1 inch I marked out is going to be serving as a channel for my drawstring at the front. So after marking out this 1 inch, I'll go ahead and start imputing my measurements. Every measurement I'm going to be doing is going to be outside this line. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the shoulder area. I'm going to come down by 1 inch. This is for my shoulder slope, and I'm going to connect from this point to this point. So this dress is a cut together with the sleeve. We are not going to attach any sleeve. So to determine your sleeve length, just measure the center of your back to wherever you want your sleeve to get to. But I'm going to exhaust this material, so I'm not really measuring anything. So after getting my shoulder slope, next thing I'm going to do, marking my bust point. My bust point is actually 10 inches, but I came down by 1 inch because I want the sleeve area to be really free. So I'm going to come down and mark my hip point. My hip point is at 23 inches, so I'm going to mark 23.5 inches for my hip point. After marking out my hip length, I'll go to my dress length. So this is my dress length. At the dress length, I'm going to be going in by 2.5 inches. The reason why I came in by these 2.5 inches, I want my hip area to look a bit curvy, so I'm going to be connecting my hip to this point. So I'll come back to my shoulder to mark out my neck measurement. So I'm going to be marking 3.5 inches for the width of my neck, and I'm going to come down by 1.5 inch. Remember, everything I'm doing is outside this line, so I took my measurement from this point to this point. Everything I'm doing is outside this line. I'm going to be taking 3.5 inches for my neck width. So remember, everything I'm doing is outside this line. Everything I'm doing is outside this line. Please don't touch this line. Don't take your measurement from this line. Whatever measurement you're taking should be outside this line. So my neck width is 3.5 inches, and I'm going to come in by 1.5. Remember, I'm cutting the front and the back together for now. So I'll come to my bust point. I'm going to go in by 2 inches. So from these 2 inches, I'm going to connect it to my hip point. So from this hip point, I'm not taking any measurement here. I'm just going to exhaust the whole fabric there. So from this hip point, I'm going to connect it to this 2.5 inch I took in. So I'm just going to curve this area a little. So remember, we are cutting the front and the back together for now. So after cutting this, I'll be splitting my dress at the center. I'll be splitting this pattern at the center. I'll be splitting the two of them. After splitting, I'll pick one of these and one of these, and I'll place them on each other. So after placing them on each other, I'm going to be cutting out the neck for the front. So we are going to be using V-neck for the front, and my neck depth is 7 inches. I'm going to be using 7 inches for the depth of my neck at the front. So I'm just going to cut out my V-neck. So after cutting out my V-neck, so I'll come to my dress length. I'll come in by 3 inches, and I'll go up by 5 inches, and I'll make a little curve to connect these 2 points. After making this little curve at the front of our dress, I'm going to take this to my sewing machine. I'll be using my bias to turn in the neck of this fabric. If you have an extra fabric, you can use it to make facing at the neck of your dress, but you know this is just 2 years and I don't have extra fabric, so I'll be using my bias to turn the neck of my dress. So I've turned turned in the neck of my dress with my bias tape. As you can see, I turned them separately. I also went ahead to fold the down parts of my dress. I folded them separately. So you have to do this before creating the channel for the drawstring. So I folded the two ends of my dress, and I've turned the neck of my dress with my bias strap. I also did that for the back of my dress. Folded the neck with bias, and I've turned it in. So I also went ahead to join my back together because we don't really have much to do here. Our major concern is at the front. So remember that 1 inch we left. I've gone ahead to use that 1 inch to join the two sides of my back. So the back of my dress is ready, so I'm just going to keep this aside. We don't have much to do at the back of the dress. Our major concern is the front of the dress. So I'm going to bring this together again. This is the front of my dress, right side facing right side. So this is the front part of my dress. So I'll take this back to my sewing machine. Remember the 1 inch we took out to create the channel for our drawstring. So I'll just go to my sewing machine and sew this down by 1 inch. So remember the little pieces we took out from our fabric. I'll be using this to create my string. So I'm going to bring this together. I'm going to sew this together to form one long piece. After forming the long piece, I'll be using it to create my rope. After joining this together, please make sure you iron this. After joining this together, you can see how the front is looking curved and beautiful. That was the essence of that curve I did at the front. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take this back to my sewing machine, and I'll be folding this in by 1/4 of an inch. I'm going to fold this in by 1/4 of an inch. So I'm trying to create a channel for my drawstring. I'm trying to create a channel for where to pass our string. So I'm going to top stitch this down. I'm going to fold by 1/4 of an inch and top stitch, and I'm going to be doing the same thing at this opposite side of it. I've gone ahead to create a channel for my string by folding in by 1/4 of an inch and top stitching. You can see I left enough space where my string can pass through. So I've created my string with the pieces we cut out at the beginning of this tutorial. So I'll be using my safety pin to pass this in from the bottom of my dress. I'm going to be passing this in like this. When I get to this point, I'll take it in again through the other channel. passing in our drawstrings. You can see how beautiful and how freely it's moving. That is why I advise you leave enough space while folding in your 1/4 inch, enough space that can take in your string. So after creating this on the front pattern, I'm going to bring in the back pattern, place it on the front pattern. I'll take this to my sewing machine and I'll be sewing the sides by 1 inch, and I'll be joining the shoulder by 1/2 inch. Okay guys, our dress is ready. You can see how beautiful and curvy it's looking. So let me know what you think about this tutorial in the comment section. Do not forget to give this video a like if it was helpful to you in any way. Thanks for watching and see you in our next video. Bye.